Hello chess players, here is the today's position. We will begin with important positional observations of the puzzle in terms of pros and cons. We are playing as a white color. We have played castling on the queen side. Our king is bit exposed, but it is not under the direct attack. Our queen and two knights in the opponent's area. Rook on open h file. Our bishop is active and bishop can join the attack anytime via g5 square. Now, if we see the opponent's position, black hasn't played castling and it's virtual stalemate. There is no square to move because of their own pieces and our knight is controlling d8 square. Queen is far away from the active area. Black pieces are not well coordinated and rook b8 is also inactive. Black's knight on the edge of the board is passive. Another knight is also not active. Now, pause the video and try to find the sequence of moves that will lead to winning position in this game. You can also write your moves in the comment box. Alright, if you found knight b5, discovered check from queen, brilliant. This is amazing and it is very hard to find this move. This shows your expertise on tactics. In this position, knight is controlling two squares of the king. Black has no other choice except bishop capture queen and then knight d6 checkmate. So we are delivering a checkmate with our two knights only and king is surrounded by their own pieces. Now you see, it's very easy to solve any position if we observe the board properly using the technique positional observation. We have solved this tricky position and we might be able to recreate similar position during our game. Hence, it is important to understand the steps that brought us to this tactical position. Therefore, let's begin from the starting. Game started with pawn d4, pawn f5, Dutch defense, pawn c4, knight f6, knight c3, knight opposite knight, and counter controlling center squares. Pawn g6. Here, black is employing type of pawn structure of Leningrad after g5, f5, h7 pawn structure. h4. So here, we are taking an initiative to break this pawn chain via h4, h5. Bishop g7, developing the minor piece. Pawn h5, trying to break this pawn chain. Pawn e6, controlling one center square on d5. Pawn takes pawn, pawn capture pawn. Now, with this, rook file is open. So, trading of rooks, bishop capture back, knight h3. So, we are getting our knight in the game. Queen e7, bishop g5. We are pinning this knight and we are also planning to play pawn e4, e5, pin f7, removing a pin, pawn g3. In this position, if we see properly that we cannot develop our bishop on c4 to g8 diagonal because of our pawn. So that's why we are trying a novelty pawn g3 that will help us to develop our bishop to g2 square. Pawn d5, opponent is striking the center, bishop g2, sacrificing a pawn to accelerate our development. Pawn c6, queen b3, activating our queen and preparing castling on the queen side. Knight bd7, black is developing the minor piece, castling on queen side to increase the king's safety. Knight b6, opponent is improving their piece. Pawn c5, kicking a knight and getting our pawn in the opponent's area. This is the opponent's area. Knight back to d7, rook h1, improving our rook position on open h file. Pawn b6, opponent is offering a pawn so that after pawn takes pawn, opponent will capture back with a7 pawn and rook file will be open. It will be easy for black to attack us. That's why we are playing bishop f4, diverting our bishop on the another diagonal. Knight h5, knight g5. Here we are not only attacking on queen but also creating a pin via rook h1 to h8. Queen moves to g8. Now pawn e6 is a weakness. If we want to play knight capture pawn, we have to remove this d5 pawn somehow. So for that, pawn e4, this is a great move. Pawn, bishop capture pawn, queen f4, it's a fork attacking on bishop and pawn simultaneously. Pawn, pawn e5, queen capture pawn, attacking on rook, rook b8, opponent is defending the rook, knight capture d5. And here, this is a bit complex position. If we see the position carefully, the opponent knight is pinned. We could create fork using our knight f6 check and attacking on queen and knight. But the problem is opponent knight is defending the f6 square. So sequence of moves could be we would sacrifice an exchange first after pawn capture and then it will be knight 4. And hence opponent is attacking our bishop, not allowing to create rook capture knight tactics. Knight c7 check, king goes to d8, knight g to e6 check, king goes to c8, and here we arrived at our puzzle position. As you know the solution, knight b5, discovered check of queen, bishop capture queen, and knight d6 checkmate. Remember that our aim is not to keep all the moves in our mind, but understanding of piece placement and coordination are important. I have shared PGN file in the description box. Now, let me show you the position for our next video. So the position is on your screen. Here it is. I hope you have learned something new today. Check out my other videos on the playlist. Stay tuned for the next puzzle and video. Thanks for watching.